Hello everybody, this is Sandra Rodriguez, and I'm here live from Hollywood, or should I say live from heart of Hollywood. And I'm very happy because today we have a very special guest with us. That would be Mr. Michael Molinski, author of the book Mosquito. Hello, Michael.
Hi, Sandy. Thanks for having me here.
Good to see you. So, Michael, can you tell me a little bit about this fantastic book? I have to say that it was a page turner. I stayed up several nights just finishing the book. I thought it was super exciting, like watching a movie in my head, you know, the action and the romance. It was wonderful. Tell me a little bit about the plot.
Well, thank you, Sandy. It's set, first of all, it's a historical novel. It's set in Nicaragua during the 1800s, and it's all about an American capitalist named Nick Malone who goes down there to work for Cornelius Vanderbilt's transportation route across Nicaragua, which was the essentially took 10,000 Americans on the way to the California gold rush. And in the process, he has a series of adventures. He has a romance with a Moravian missionary named Anna Hankel, and together they battle plagues, wars, banditos, alligators, and everything else. It's a very hostile environment, but most of it is on the Mosquito coast of Nicaragua.
That's amazing. Now, here's the thing. I noticed that this is very historically accurate. It was almost like an exciting version of a history lesson, and I would like to know a little bit about the research process that went into this book, and also about your own personal background as a journalist, because I know that that is your background.
Right. So I started writing this book when I was a foreign correspondent in Nicaragua. In 1990, I was sent down there to work for UPI at the time to cover the end of the Contra War. When I was there, the war ended. But before I left, I always had this yearning to explore the Mosquito coast, and I took 2 weeks to go there. It's a very difficult place to get to in the first place.
In what sense? Do you need like a special type of vehicle, or?
Essentially, first of all, you need a Jeep to drive the 4 hours it takes through the mountains and jungles to get to a port called Rama, where you get on a boat, and then from there it's essentially a 6-hour boat cruise up the Rio Escondido. And when you get off the boat, you're in Bluefields, which is the capital of the Mosquito Coast. But capital of the Mosquito Coast is a far stretch. I mean, it was like being in the pirate days.
That's amazing. So then it was actually a very hands-on experience. You were actually in the places that you described throughout the book.
Yes, and actually there's a lot of autobiographical elements in the book that I describe.
Have you battled alligators in real life?
I haven't battled alligators, but I've met lots of alligators, let's put it that way, but I've never wrestled one.
Tell me a little bit about why you chose Nicaragua specifically as a backdrop, because as a journalist, I'm sure you have traveled to numerous places. What was it about this particular place that made it so attractive to you?
Right, that's a good point. So, in my opinion, and especially at that time, the 1850s in Nicaragua, there was a lot of Nicaragua played an essential role to the Civil War, the U.S. Civil War. It played a large role in slavery, and it played a large role in the defining U.S. imperialism in Central America and all of Latin America.
That's very interesting. It's something that sometimes we don't realize what's going on back then, because now everybody's talking about how everything is interconnected and globalization and this and that.
But if you go back in time and trace history, you can see a lot of the events that already happened
Right.
250 years ago.
Exactly. It's very interesting.
For example, they're building a canal across Nicaragua right now, just currently being financed by the Chinese government. But Cornelius Vanderbilt tried to get that canal going in the 1850s. He was the first person that had the idea to build a canal across Nicaragua.
That's amazing. Now, I can't imagine that this was an easy book to write, and certainly not something that would take just a couple of weekends. I think that a lot of research went into this book. How long did it take you to complete this project?
Too long. It essentially took me 20 years to write. I mean, I've got a full-time job. I didn't have the time to dedicate to writing a book, but my plan was to write a book that would eventually be an epic novel that was going to be 800 pages long. I had no, so I ended up carving it into serialize the book. So this is part one, and the upcoming books, parts 2, 3, and 4, will go. One of them, the book that I'm writing now, will actually be a prequel to Mosquito.
Oh, excellent. So book number 2 is a prequel.
Yes, it takes place during the 1630s and 1640s. At a time, I mean, it was the perfect time. It's when European imperialism, conquistadors, slave trade, pirates, all were battling for control over Nicaragua and all of Central America and the Caribbean.
Well, that's fantastic. Tell me something, Michael. If somebody wanted to purchase this book at this time, where could they find it?
Well, they can buy it anywhere. It's on Amazon and Barnes and Noble, and it's in some bookstores. But buy it online. You can buy an ebook, paperback, or hardback version.
I understand that you're also having it translated to Spanish for your Hispanic readers.
Yes, it's currently being translated into Spanish. That Spanish language version will come out in early 2018. And I look forward to that because there's been a large appetite from the Latino public.
I'm certain. Now, one thing that I especially enjoyed when reading Mosquito was the dialogue. It's fantastic, regardless of who's speaking, be it an old man, a young woman. I mean, it rings very, very true to life. And I'm guessing that that might be even more so in a Spanish version because that would be their original language.
Right,
in most cases.
exactly.
Very interesting. And so right now, would you say that you were focused on book number 2 of the series, or what can we expect for you in regard to upcoming writing projects?
Well, definitely I'm working on the second book in the series. It's more than halfway done, and I'm looking to get it into the publisher by the year end. And aside from that, I continue to market Mosquito. It will be in the Frankfurt Book Fair in October, which is the first time I will be invited to an international book fair. And I also have a newsletter, which I'm going to tease the upcoming book in that newsletter by including 1 or 2 sample chapters of the coming book.
That would be fantastic. How can we sign up for your newsletter?
You can go to michaelmolinski.com and send an email to me saying you want to be included in the newsletter.
Well, I'm going to do that right as soon as we're done with the interview.
Well, thank you.
So, Michael, as I was telling you, when I was reading your book, I really felt that this was a movie running through my head. I think it's very well suited for the big screen. Have you taken any steps in that direction, looking to get this made into a movie?
Yes, actually, several. Back in the fall, I went to something called the Hollywood Pitch Fest, which gathered 11 production companies together. And we got exactly 2 minutes to pitch our book. 2 minutes didn't give you a lot of time, but there were 3 production companies that took an interest in the book.
Excellent.
So those 3 are current. I sent the book to all 3 of them, and they're currently, reviewing the book for potential creating it into a movie or a TV show, something like that.
Excellent. It would also work fantastically as a mini-series just because of the number of events throughout. It's
Right, exactly.
fantastic.
And I think being here in Southern California, I moved here about 6 months ago, but I think being here just makes me more accessible.
I look forward to seeing your book on the big screen or on any screen, be it a movie, be it a TV series. It's just very well suited in my opinion. And I also recommend that all our viewers get their own copy of the book itself. It's readily available, as Michael mentioned. It's available everywhere books are sold, online, or it's quite easy to find our own copy, and I really recommend it. Very entertaining, educational again, because it is historically accurate, and just a very exciting read that you will not be able to put down. So Michael, thank you so much for joining us today. I had a lot of fun talking to you. It was wonderful.
And
Thank
I
you.
thank Heart of Hollywood for inviting me.
Thank you so much. And everybody out there, keep watching Heart of Hollywood Media. And remember that Heart of Hollywood is your source for production services for the modern filmmaker. We also offer a large media exposure network and an entrepreneurial network as well.
Yeah.
Thank you, Michael.
Thank you.